Namaste, 10th standard. So, in the last videos, we were discussing about The Eyes Are Not Here by Ruskin Bond. So, this is a lesson written by Ruskin Bond. Most of his writings are based on the place called Mussoorie. So, this incident had taken place in the train where two blind people by chance get into the same compartment and they both try to hide their blindness. Both of them are blind and they try to hide their blindness. In that conversation, they just try to find out how the other passenger looked like. So this is all about the story. At the end, the man who was traveling and who was too much interested in the girl, how she would have looked, how she looks like and how she must have tied her hair, comes to know that she was blind and she didn't show up that she was blind. So yesterday we discussed till para number 14. She was silent, and I wondered if my words had touched her or whether she thought me a romantic fool. Then I made a mistake. What it's like? I asked. She seemed to find nothing strange in the question. Had she noticed already that I could not see, but her next question removed my doubt. While in the conversation, just he doubts that she might be come to know that he cannot see, but she did not actually observe that this man is blind, and she asked the other passenger, why don't you look out of the window? So this question removed the doubt as to his doubt as to she has come to know about his blindness. Para number 17. I moved easily along the berth and felt for the window ledge. The window was open and I faced it. Making a pretense of studying the landscape, I heard the panting of the engine, the rumbling of the wheels, and in my mind's eye, I could see the telegraph post flashing by. So when she told him that why don't you look out of the window, he just moved slowly to the window ledge. Then it was opened. He just looked out of the window as if to show that he is looking at the scenery outside, and he is studying the landscape. Actually, he was just imagining, and he just could hear the rumbling of the engine and the rumbling of the wheels, etc., etc. But in his mind's eye, just he was thinking about the telegraph post flashing by. He is not actually a blind person from birth. His blindness is a later development, and he can see, he can make out whether it is dark outside or whether there is a light. So this is his type of blindness. So he can make out the telegraph post flashing by. Have you noticed, I ventured, that the tree seems to be moving while we seems to be standing still? So he just asked the girl that have you noticed that the tree seems to be moving? Tree looks like they are moving, and we are as if when we are traveling, we look as if we are sitting still, and trees seems to be moving. That always happens, she said. Do you see any animals? Hardly any animals left in the forest near Dehra. So this girl says that is a common thing that always happens. Do you see any animals? She is asking, do you see any animals? Hardly any animals left in the Dehra forest. I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. So he was looking out of the window. Then after this conversation, he just turned to the girl and they sat silently for some moment. You have an interesting face, I remarked. I was becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. Few girls can resist flattery. So he wanted to know, he wanted to know how she looks like. So daringly he asked one question. He just comments on her face. You have an interesting face. He didn't say that it is pretty or it is ugly. He didn't even say it is beautiful. He said interesting face. Interesting face can be pretty face, it can be ugly face, but it is an interesting face. I remarked. I was becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. Few girls can resist flattery. So saying interesting to someone it's a safe remark. Only few girls resist flattery, and some people just enjoy this flattering and some resist the flattery. He thought that she may resist, but the thing went other way. She laughed pleasantly, a clear ringing laugh. It's nice to be told I have an interesting face. I am tired of people telling me I have a pretty face. So she says, she laughs first, then she says that it is nice. She liked the comment that he said she has an interesting face. I am tired of people saying that I have a pretty face. People tell her that she has a very pretty face, and she is tired of this. As this is the first person who said your face is very interesting. You are a very gallant young man, she said, but why are you so serious? So the girl said, you are a gallant young man, you are very courageous, very brave young man, she said, but why are you so serious? You look very serious. The girl said, I thought then that I would try to laugh for her, but the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely. So the man thought that he should laugh at the comment she passed, but that will only make him lonely and troubled. We will be at your station, I said. Thank goodness, it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. So, when the station was nearing, the man said, your station is nearing. The man said to the girl, your station is nearing. So, then the girl said, yeah, thank God, it is a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. She doesn't like sitting in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. So she said, thank God it is a short journey and she can't bear journeying for more than 2 or 3 hours. Para number 29. Yet I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time, just to listen to her talking. Her voice had a sparkle of mountain stream. So he liked her voice that seems to be like a sparkle of a stream. So he wanted her to sit for a little more time, but unfortunately she is getting down now. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter, but it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. Then he was thinking that after she gets down, she will forget. She would forget what we talked, what is our encounter, all these things she will forget. But I will remember the conversation, her company till my journey finishes, maybe even after some time. The engine's whistle shrieked, the carriage wheels changed their sound and rhythm. So now it stopped and the girl got down from the train and again the train started. The girl got up and began to collect her things. I wonder if she wore her hair in a bun or it was plaited. or if it hung loose over her shoulders, or if it was cut very short. So he was thinking about girls. She was getting up to get down in her station, and at that time, while she was getting up from her seat, he was thinking how she must have tied her hair, whether it's a bun or whether it is plaited or it is hung loose till her shoulder, and or it is a very short cut. The train drew slowly into the station. Outside there was a shouting of porters and vendors and high-pitched female voice near the carriage door, which must have belonged to the girl's aunt. So now the station had come. Now you can hear in the station, as usual, you hear the sounds of the vendors and the porters, those people who sell things there, and the porters. And one more voice was there, very sharp voice. It was none other than the girl's aunt. It was the voice of the girl's aunt. "Goodbye," said the girl. She was standing very close to me, so close that the perfume from her hair was tantalizing. I wanted to raise my hand and touch her hair, but she moved away, and only the perfume still lingered where she had stood. So she got up to go. And before going, she was collecting her baggage, and while collecting her baggage, she was standing very close to this man, and at that time he could smell the perfume of her hair, very tantalizing perfume smell he could smell, and at that moment the man thought of touching her hair, but before he could do that, before he could touch her hair, she moved away, she moved outside, but the only thing remained was the smell of her, the perfumed smell of her hair, and it stood there for a little more time. You may break, you may shatter the vase if you will, but the scent of the roses will linger there still. So this is what he thought when she went. You may break a vase, you may shatter the vase if you will. So you may break, or if you want, you can shatter, you can throw or make the pieces of any rose flower vase, but the scent of the roses will linger there. So what does it mean? He is referring to this girl, her perfume hair, that she was like a rose, and even if you throw, if you shatter, if you destroy the rose vase, the smell of the rose will not go so soon. So that's what he was thinking about the girl, and he thought about this. There was some confusion in the doorway. A man getting into the compartment stammered an apology. Then the door banged shut, and the world was shut again. I returned to my berth. The guard blew his whistle, and we moved off. Once again, I had a game to play with a new fellow traveler. Now she went away, and he observed some confusion was there. A man was getting into the compartment. A new man was coming into the compartment. At that time, he just said sorry, something like apology, stammered an apology, like saying sorry. Then the door banged shut. Another man came in, and the girl went out, and the world was shut out again. The world was shut out again. Outside world was shut again. It was closed again. I returned to my berth. He was standing there, and now he returned to his berth, his seat. The guard blew his whistle, and we moved out. So the guard whistled, and the train started moving. Once again, I had a new game to play with a new fellow traveler. So as he did with the girl, that he tried to hide his blindness, and that was like the game. Hiding his blindness was nothing but was like the game. So the same game now he has to play again. I had a game to play with a new fellow traveler. Same type of game he has to play now. The train gathered speed. The wheels took up their song. The carriage groaned and shook. I found the window and sat in front of it, staring into the daylight, and was darkness for me. So the train took up its speed, started and took up its speed. At that moment, this man went to the window, went to his seat, and then went to the window and started looking out of the window. Then so many things happening outside the window. It could be a fascinating game, guessing what went on out there. So many things happening outside the window. Outside the window, there may be so many things going on. So many things happening outside the window. He doesn't know what is going outside the window. He is just thinking that so many things must be going outside the window, and it could be a fascinating game. So if we are outside and there will be fascinating game, guessing what went on out there. The man who had entered the compartment broke into my reverie. So the man who was sitting in front of him started to talk. You must be disappointed, he said. The new man said, you must be disappointed, he said. I'm sorry, I'm not as attractive a traveling companion as the one who just left. He was just thinking that this man is very silent, he is not talking either. And so he asked him, you must be disappointed, you must be sad now, disappointed. He said, I'm sorry, I'm not as attractive as I'm not attractive a traveling companion as the one who just left. So I cannot be that attractive traveling companion as the one who just left. She was an interesting girl, I said. Can you tell me, did she keep her hair long or short? So just he said, he didn't say that how she looked, that just said she was an interesting girl. It can be anything. Interesting means it can be anything. Can you tell me, did she keep her hair long or short? So he is asking the fellow traveler, a new fellow traveler, that can you tell me how she has tied her hair? The man says, I don't remember. I not observed this. How she has tied her hair, whether it was tied or plaited or bun, I have not observed it. He said, sounding puzzled. So sounding puzzled means he must be thinking why this man is asking whether that her hair is tied short or whether she has plaited, whether she has bun. All these things he has traveled all along and he doesn't know. This has puzzled him, that confusion. It was her eyes I noticed. It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair. She had beautiful eyes. So that's what I observed. She had beautiful eyes, but they were no use to her. She was completely blind. Didn't you notice? So what he said was a very shocking to this man. He said, I didn't observe her hair, how she has tied, but I saw that she is completely blind and she cannot see anything, though she has a very beautiful hair. So this is what happened in the compartment. So till here the chapter finishes. This chapter shows you that sometimes you try to show something to someone, it backfires on you. So same way, the man tried to prove something. He tried to prove that he is a normal person, but on the other hand, the girl proved that she is a normal person, but on the other hand, she was blind. She did not show up that she was blind. And this is what sometimes we do something, we just try to do something, but it backfires on us. and we get fooled. So here also the man who was in the compartment, so he got fooled. He tried to he tried to show up that he is of normal sight, a normal man. So this is what happens in our day-to-day life. Many times it happens in our life. So this is what is the lesson about the conversation between the both is very important. You have to read the lesson 5 times and watch the video 3 times. Question and answers I will give you in the PDF form, and still in my next video I'll just discuss the questions and answers to you. Till then, take care. Thank you.